Get punched in the face with some TLC shit on the dead guys. Some TLC shit, cause my nigga, you gon' need a chili ice pack for your left eye. I'm back in your city tonight, walking around my head.
What do you mean?
You're not streaming already.
We are, and you love Drake. Don't act like you don't like Drake. Drake is great. Lyrically, Drake is great.
Nah, he's good.
He's good. Come on. Remember what you used to say back in the day? Yeah, I've got face tattoos and I do this and I do that and I like to listen to Drake sometimes.
You know, he's good.
Remember you used to say that?
Yeah, he's good, but still fuck him.
Why?
I don't know. Just in that mood. Just in that poking mood,
You're
mate.
in a violent mood today.
I am.
What's caused it?
Sparring.
You shouldn't get it out of you?
What'd your mate reckon?
My mate reckons 86 is perfect for him.
Anyway, mate.
And the audience like it's perfect, right? Because you're both well known. But he's like, yeah, but is he on the juice? And I was like, he's been on the juice since he was like 20 years old. I don't know. He's like, nah, it's got to be clean. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to tell him. If he gets off the juice, he's going to be depressed. It's a long life contract.
What's the juice mean?
Like, is he on...
You mean to say is my testosterone level higher than a normal person's? No, I'm on TRT. But, you know, cope. So what are you saying? You can't beat me on the juice.
No, he said, mate, it's got to be clean. It's got to be clean.
What do you mean?
And I said to him, listen, I think it'll be a great fight.
What do you mean it's got to be clean?
Blood test.
I'm
That's
on
what he said.
TRT. I run a podcast about fucking guns on TRT. Everyone knows I'm on TRT for the last 10 years.
I don't know. By the way...
Oh, you think that if I'm not on TRT, I'd be a different fighter is what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying getting on TRT is a lifelong contract. You told me that because I was going to buy one. You said, if you start this, you're going to be on this forever.
Correct, yeah.
So I said to him, bro, if I tell him to get off, he's going to be depressed. What do you mean? He's on it all his life.
It's not about depression. You need it.
Yeah.
The reason someone like myself is on TRT is because I abused anabolic steroids. About 50% of cases will recover back to normal, and about 50% will either not recover at all, like my case, and then partial recover. But
So-
I don't believe that's what he said. There's no way he said that.
Swear to you. Swear to you. He called me this morning. Yeah, I need it clean, mate. I need it clean.
Your favorite boxer, all your favorite boxers are not clean. They're actually on the gear, as in TRT will replace a hormone, testosterone replacement therapy. That means if you're taking that hormone and on your blood test, the testosterone level is outside of the physiological range, now you are taking a performance enhancing dose. But that's not where it ends when it comes to PEDs for a fight. I know this because I did that for a living, as in helped professional fighters, professional athletes juice themselves up. EPO, great drug. Meldonium, great drug. Growth hormone, great drug. EPOs to increase your hemoglobin count so you'll be fitter in the ring. Meldonium to improve your cardiac efficiency. You take testosterone, but typically they take more than what I'm taking, so not just TRT, to increase the androgen load. That'll also tell the bone marrow to increase hemoglobin count as well. Better recovery, potentially more aggression if that's what you need. Then there are other anabolics you could stack on top to increase the androgen load without having excess estrogen. Something like a Mastron or even Boldenone, which is also pretty popular for increasing hemoglobin count as well. It doesn't end there. Like I said, growth hormone and other peptides to increase recovery. You could even take beta blockers if you're stressed out before the fight. If you want to sleep, you could dose yourself with benzos. You could do all sorts of things to truly juice yourself for a fight. And I gather a lot of the normies might think your favorite boxer is not doing that, but I can guarantee you that he is. And why wouldn't you? Why would you not want to be the best fighter you are? And why would you want to see fighters suboptimal? No one wants to see clean fighters. They want to see the best fighters. And that's what we get in boxing. That's what we get in NBA. That's what we get in NFL. Everyone knows, or anyone with half a brain knows, that no one is clean.
So you're telling me if you were to do a professional fight right now and they did the blood works and everything, that you would be approved? You'd be like, yeah, you're fine.
Depends on which organization. Now, I could pass the drug test because that is what I did for a living. Help people pass drug tests even though they're not clean.
You help me.
But because I've publicly stated that I'm on TRT, now they're going to go looking for certain things, and that would change the direction. One of the ways that we used to be able to do this was to be fair with you, the basic tests don't test for it anyway. They're just easy. You just stop the gear before the fire or use a short arrestor. It's very easy. But if someone's hunting you, one of the ways that you'd be able to pass a drug test gets a little bit nerdy here, but there's a carbon isotope test that was able to test androgens that come from plant sterols, because testosterone is actually made from a yam, like a potato. Yeah? It mass produced. So you get the yam, then you get, believe it's like cholesterol, then androstenedione, and then it goes all the way down to testosterone. But you can create that testosterone another way via an animal, via a pig, and it doesn't show up on the carbon isotope test. That was one of the ways people would pass drug tests there. There's all kinds of ways you can pass them, but for the most part, understand this, USADA, VADA, whatever you want to call it, these organizations, this is propaganda. This is just so you can cover the ass, but these organizations are designed for you to beat the test. If anyone's seen Icarus, if anyone thinks Olympic athletes are clean, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this is not Tim Fawcett hat stuff. No one's clean. But I mean, I just don't believe he'd say that.
You think I'm lying to you?
Oh well,
You know I'm not lying to you.
I'm shocked. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I don't know. Yeah, listen, probably it was probably a better question for you to answer. I was like, I don't know what to say to you.
That's a cop out, big time.
Probably. I'm gonna send him this.
Especially if you're on TRT. I mean, while we're at it, seeing as how that is what I do professionally, help people with their TRT. If you take TRT and you see a performance benefit, or you have additional muscle that you never used to have when you had healthy T, you're not on TRT. You're likely lightly juicing, which a lot of guys do. They'll take a dose of 200 milligrams a week. And granted, some people will need 200 milligrams a week if they're androgen resistant, maybe, but that's very rare. I've personally never seen guys need more than 150 milligrams per week. Yeah. Most guys are between 80 to 150 milligrams per week. It depends on a few things, weight, metabolism, etc. But man, if you've got a total testosterone greater than 1,000, most guys are seeing a performance benefit that they wouldn't see if they were natural. Now I mean, if someone wanted to know what I looked like before taking TRT, I was obviously a lot bigger because I'm injured and I'm older. So yeah, I was bigger than this naturally. If people think, oh, he was juicing, I was not only bigger than this, I was fitter than this and more athletic than this because I wasn't injured and I was younger. I'm 36. And if someone goes, well, what did you look like on the gear? Well, bigger. When you stop taking gear, you pop, So yeah, I wouldn't take it if I didn't need to. I don't like injections, but I also don't have any opinion either way. Like when someone fights and people bring up the conversation about, oh, you think they're on drugs or not? I'm like, bro, of course they are. Name a boxer: Floyd Mayweather, Canelo, Anthony Joshua. Are you like, do people actually...
Should we call him? I reckon we should call him. He's a streamer.
Yeah, all right, go.
He's a streamer. He actually sent me a video the other day, or just yesterday, of him streaming. Rory.
Hello, mate. You right?
We're live on a stream and I'm with Daniel Pekic, okay? I want you guys to sort this out in the ring as soon as possible.
I know you're talking shit.
I'm not. He's here and we're live on a stream.
We'll put your mate under the bus.
Basically, put me on the spot on your mate's stream.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so Redin of you, eh?
Like some backward and forward between me and him.
Yes. Let's start this beef now.
Well, no, I told you I'm not going to start beef with the guy. I like the guy. I like his post. I told you, so I don't know him.
I'm with Rory on this one. I like Rory too.
Well, I'll beat the fuck out of both of yous then.
So how about me and Daniel do a stream about you?
I'll beat the fuck out of both of you then. Listen, let's get this.
That, the same truth. You went down with a mosquito bite last week. You ended up in hospital.
You didn't even have dengue. He didn't have dengue. It wasn't dengue. Did you say you had dengue? You didn't have it.
No, it was something
He's
else.
a liar as well.
It was
He's a
something
liar
else.
as well as an antagonist.
Listen, something got me. All right. Listen, you two are supposed to hate each other. All right. You're not supposed to get along
Why?
because it sells
Why would we
tickets.
get along?
It sells tickets.
Listen. If we want to talk about boxing, we'll do that in our own time, you know. But it needs to meet certain requirements for both fighters, and we need to come to agreements off of the stream, because that, in my mind, is degenerate. And what you're trying to do here, Radin, is generate clicks and views to antagonise a fight between me and a good man.
Don't put me out there like that. But
You're a troublemaker. You're no better than Netanyahu.
he didn't believe me that you said about him being on test, and I was like, bro, he's been on test since he was 20 years old.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean. In order to have a fair fight, no one can be on juice. It has to be a natural fight. And you said that he'd been on whatever since 16 years old. I didn't hold that against him, but I told you there's rules and regulations when it comes to fighting.
And Daniel Pekic, off to you. How are you going to answer this one?
Yeah, it can't come off TRT. It's impossible.
Well, unfortunately, then we're not going to meet. We're not going to meet an agreement, because I like to fight natural fighters. So, I've got nothing. If you want to do that, that's up to you now. I hold nothing against that at all. That's your personal choice. However, when it comes to fighting, there are certain rules and regulations that are in place for a reason.
I mean, anyone who's good is on the gear, but I guess if I've stated it publicly, it's different.
You can't say that anyone good is on the gear, bro.
It's
You
100%.
can't say that. Alright, so what you're saying is, I need to get on the gear and we both become super juice fighters. And there we go at it.
If you like, you can do anything you want. I won't be getting on
I
quote
mean,
unquote
yeah,
the
this
gear,
is
but
what I
I'll
mean,
stay on
this is what I
TRT.
mean. I know, but listen, boys. Everything has to be met halfway. Do you know what I mean? Everything has to be met halfway in order to get a fight on. The money's got to be right, everything's got to be right. So, but like I said, Radin's just a troublemaker.
Listen, this is going the right direction. Call each other account or something.
Nah, it's
No, I
not.
like it.
It's not.
I like it.
It's pretty trivial, actually. It's TRT or not. It's not a big thing. I agree. I agree with Rory on this one. I agree with Rory on this one.
I don't know what you're on, Daniel. I don't know. Radin just come on spitting a load of lyrics this morning, and now he's doing this. You're a bad person, Radin. You're no better than Netanyahu.
Listen, he saved my country. Did your country come and save my country?
Listen, I'm Irish. We stay out of the troubles. We just bomb anyone that comes near us.
Did your country also bomb Israel? So I've got clout on both sides.
My country bombed Israel. Did my country bomb? No, Ireland didn't bomb anyone.
Did your
Other than
country-
England, when they were trying to invade Ireland.
Did your country stand up to the American imperialism?
Yes, I believe so. I think Ireland are very pro-Palestine due to the oppression that Ireland have suffered once before. You can relate to it,
He's educated, isn't he? He's educated. All right, well, we can continue this conversation off stream, but up the rah.
Lucky no one's watching. As in, literally no one's watching.
2 people are watching.
Yeah, you can't say who are up the right. Poor Daniel's going to get fucking cancelled, bro. You can't be saying that. But I absolutely support the cause.
All right, brother. I'll let you go.
Alright. Give me a shout later, boys.
All right.
See ya.
All right, mate.
See you, brother.
Catch up.
Alright, boys.
Yeah.
Bye, man.
See, I'm not a liar.
Well, I don't know what to say.
I'm not a liar.
I didn't think it was a big thing about people caring whether or not someone's natural or not. I don't understand, because I'm autistic, and coming from that space where my inbox is full of professional athletes, and I mean, I thought it was just common knowledge that everyone in the NBA was on gear. Everyone in the NFL was on gear. Any good boxers on gear. Obviously, they can't say that publicly, because that would immediately, cancel their opportunity for future fights. But I thought it was an unwritten law that everyone was on gear, and not necessarily testosterone or anabolic steroids. They are very limited when it comes to like a boxing match. Yeah. Maybe if you're like in a lower weight and you want to gain weight, that can help definitely. But the drugs that increase your cardiac efficiency and ring fitness, they're the ones that are really, A, hard to catch, and B, help a lot. EPO, meldonium, growth hormone for the recovery aspect, the joints, the ligaments, etc. But yeah, testosterone will definitely help a lot. But you don't want to be taking a bodybuilder dose because things will turn for the worst as well. So it's a balance, but I mean, I don't know anyone that I can think of that would not be on the gear. That's a world-class boxer who's, top. You've always got your freaks out there, especially when it comes to heavyweight. Sometimes you'll get guys that are very good, maybe not like top 10 in the world, and they're kind of just fat and they can boogie, and maybe they're not on the gear, but bro, I mean, if you think of Pride Days, Miracle Crow Cop, for example, Ngannou, Jones got caught for the gear. A lot of them got caught.
Something else.
Yeah, no, everyone's juicing, but obviously they're going to deny that. They have to deny that. What do you want me to do?
I remember I was speaking to Rob Moore, who's a big podcaster. He's been doing it for 13 years. Do you know Rob Moore? You know who I'm talking about?
You had a podcast with him.
And he had a podcast with Lance Armstrong. And Lance on his podcast said to him, everyone's juicing.
Everyone.
And he goes, well, then why did they get you? He goes, because I was winning. I was the poster child and they came after me.
Yeah, you got targeted.
But everyone was doing it.
Bro, there's no one in endurance sports as well. No one that is even thinking about the potential of someone not being on gear in endurance sports or Olympic sports. It's just, I thought this was common knowledge. Look, a lot of people will bring up some like mid-tier fighter, let's say, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm sure he's not on the gear, but that's why he's not a champion. Your favorite champion's on the gear, 100%.
Michael Phelps.
Gear.
He got caught with having marijuana in his system, right? And there was a comedian. He's like, man, they found marijuana in the system? They should give him 2 gold medals.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When it comes to PEDs, for whatever reason, people classify testosterone as like an advantage and then some other drugs as either disadvantage or neutral. If that's allowing you to relax and sleep at night and switch off, whereas you would be stressed if you were sober, that's a PED. If you take a beta blocker to lower your heart rate to stop the adrenaline dump before the fight, or maybe a small dose of a benzodiazepine the night before so that you can fall asleep because your mind is racing, that's a PED. In fact, these endurance races, do you know what drug they take? They take painkillers, bro, during the race.
Paracetamol.
Yeah. No.
Tramadol.
Opiates, yes.
Oh.
Things like tramadol, because what it allows them to do is to push through the pain on the hills. Bro, they are juiced to the gills, these cyclists. And they're not big. I think it's because people see a hypermuscular guy and think that must be juicy and someone who's small is not. On the contrary, these cyclists are some of the heaviest juicers you'll meet. And that is a very good stack for a boxer. Maybe something like 100 milligrams every other day or 50 milligrams a day of test prop because it can clear quicker. 500 milligrams a day of meldonium. EPO, I won't talk about these doses publicly because if someone tries it, it could be fatal. Yeah, wow. EPO can be fatal, so I wouldn't talk about doses there. Your masterons, maybe another 350 milligrams a week. Growth hormone, anywhere from 2 to 10 IU, just depends on what you need. TB 500, BBC 157 to help you heal.
Peptides,
so retatrutide. So for example, if I'm 100 now and I want to get down to the weight of, let's say he goes, let's fight at 80. Well, I could say, okay, dose me with a couple milligrams a week of retatrutide. I won't want to eat. You've tried this. And that will allow me to make weight. A lot of fighters simply just can't make weight. There's been some great fighters over time, especially these Islander guys, and they're so heavy. And I just think, man, if you lost the fat, you'd be fantastic. They're already explosive and good at that weight. But if they had lost the fat, and drugs like retatrutide will help with that. The list goes on and on and on and on.
But then again, is peptides doping?
Yep.
Peptides are doping.
Where do you draw the line? Honestly, when I look at doping, I think if something isn't in its raw form in nature, you're in a way doping. You are. I mean, even creatine, when you take 30 grams, 30 grams of creatine, near impossible to actually get that in a steak in nature. And that absolutely is, yeah, bro, that increases performance. I mean, where do you draw the line? Even if you go to the gym, if you look at the way they are creating machines now, you can build muscle in ways that you just couldn't do before. You can train injured, you can hit certain angles. It's one of those conversations where whenever it comes up, I'm just like, man, just accept reality that we want to see the best of the best. And certainly I'll tell the audience, the reason I quit gear actually, I mean, if this didn't happen to me, I would be using more. I wouldn't be on TRT, I'd be on gear, on anabolic steroids. Because before a dose of about 400 milligrams, it wasn't affecting mood, behavior, anything like that. The main reason for me was when I got things right, let's say, I just started to see things pop up on the blood work and the echocardiogram that were just going in the wrong direction. And I knew, I mean, life is short anyway as a heavy guy, but life is even shorter when you have an androgen load that is going to grow that left ventricular on your heart. The heart mass grows. It's, you can't be burning the candle from both ends. I'm already eating the pizzas and the cookies. If you do the pizzas, the cookies, the cigars, and the anabolic steroids, I mean, you're burning the candle from both ends.
Rest in peace, Ziz.
Yeah, and that's the reason for me. But let's say I went and did an echo again, a CTA, I got the blood work, and then the physician, shout out to Dr. Andrew Wingy, he was like, I like this. You're doing okay. Blood pressure's good, health is good. You've retracted some of the damage that you did in the past. You're okay to juice up. I would consider, now he's not going to fight, but I would consider more, because what I'm taking now is not a dose of testosterone that does any more than replace what I already had. That's TRT. So yeah, I would take these drugs and then you would see a very different me. So whatever you're seeing now, which quite frankly is not that impressive. I mean, it's not to my coaches. They're professional fighters. They toy with me. You would see an improvement. How much, I can't say, but it would be notable, and it is the difference between winning a fight and losing a fight in many cases. I mean, when we saw Vitor Belfort, TRT Vitor, as they call him, because he wasn't really on TRT, he was juicing. He changed, and he started to lose after that. Same with Alistair Overeem. These guys that were clearly on, I mean, yeah, man, it's profound when TRT Vitor came off. The reason it's profound when these guys come off is because they don't go back to normal. I think that's what people think. Like, oh, he's off the TRT, this is his true self. No, they actually come off gear and they are likely suboptimal. So right now, you don't need TRT. Your testosterone level is more or less the same as mine. But if you were to come off the gear, it actually can go low, like a teenage girl low. And that's actually why I said I can't come off. It's because it will not go to normal.
Yeah.
It'll go low.
Low.
And we can talk about what happens if your testosterone is low, now that we're here to talk about TRT. Well, I will consider it a life-threatening issue to have low testosterone.
Wow.
Yeah, this is something that is not discussed enough, because the feminization of an industry is such that men that need testosterone treatment aren't getting it because it's been slandered by the anabolic steroid user propaganda. I mean, truth be told, men are not doing enough to promote TRT when necessary. You hear these guys, stay natural, don't worry about it. This is not a good take, because some guys get kicked in the balls, low T. Some guys have a growth in their brain, low T. Veterans, blunt force trauma in the head, that can cause low hormones in general. Some people are going to need exogenous testosterone no matter what you try and do naturally. Now, yes, the general message is that most guys don't need TRT. They need to stop the plastics, lose the fat, sleep better, stress less, blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, there are guys in the camps that stuff isn't going to work. And the guys in my camp, the ex-anabolic steroid users, like I said, it's 50-50. You have low testosterone. It's not just about you not being able to fuck. It's not just about muscle. We're talking about you losing your mental acuity. We're talking about poor heart health, because testosterone goes up, so does estradiol, which is estrogen. If that is low, if estradiol is low, that's terrible for your heart. Hemoglobin, the anemia that you have, you can become anemic if you're low testosterone. Yeah, like I said, life-threatening to be low T. What else? Bone integrity. Like I said, cognition, mental acuity. Then there's the mood disorders. This stuff is subjective, but when you mention depression, not all guys get depressed on low T. They don't. I mean, when I was low T, I had a testosterone level of 3 nmol/liter after trying to come off. I didn't feel depressed. No,
Wait, is that really low?
bro, it's like the testosterone level of a 12-year-old girl.
What's normal? What's the normal range?
20 to 40.
And you were 3?
3.
And you were depressed?
Nope.
No.
Nope. I had, I will say, some low energy, some sleep disruption, but for the most part, I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it. And so the issue with having low T like that, even if you are not symptomatic or asymptomatic, is that over years, not necessarily months, if you allow for this testosterone to stay that way and you're just like, I'm going to stay natural, I'll just get on with it. Now you're going to start to see things pop up down the track. Like I said, poor heart health, anemia issues, insulin issues, so diabetes, on the way to diabetes. Now, and if anyone knows how bad being a diabetic is, you know that this is a life-threatening issue. But like I said, the reason that TRT doesn't get the attention it deserves is because the PED users, that group of people, and because PED use is not safe, that is actually tarnishing the potential for people to consider TRT. You mentioned juiced up, and a lot of guys that don't have the knowledge within TRT and PEDs, they bucket it as one. Yeah? Like I said, TRT, replacement therapy, once you go above that, you're juicing. You're juicing. And that's sad because, you know, I see a lot of guys out there, they've got this moral compass, they want to stay natural, and they're just dying. Women are the same. When it comes to menopause, there is hormone therapy women can take. Perimenopause before that, sorry. Once it gets too far, it's too late. I mean, it sucks to be an old woman, doesn't it? For many reasons.
Especially if you're Mexican.
Why Mexican?
Have you seen women in Mexico pre and after menopause?
Well, I figured they would slop out quicker. They slop out pretty quick, Mexicans, don't they?
Yeah, they start hot. But then after menopause, they look like a cleaner. Sorry, continue.
Well, women, again, are harder to convince when it comes to hormone therapy. There's a growing trend of awareness, but men are obviously more willing to do what it takes, which is why I think TRT is a growing trend for men, less so than women. Even women can benefit from a very small dose of testosterone. Women have testosterone too.
Can men benefit from a little amount of estrogen?
Yes. Did you hear this somewhere? Did you?
No.
My physician, Dr. Andrew Wingy, he takes exogenous estrogen.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason he does it, I'll tell you.
Does he have man boobs?
No. Now, we won't get into the cause of man boobs, but typically that is a direct result of excessive estrogen. Okay?
Man boobs.
Yeah, excessive estrogen. You typically can only get that two ways. Number one is a prepubescent male, so before puberty. Hormones are going up, IGF is going up, estradiol is going up, and if you're also fat, smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol, that combination of fuckery can cause the prepubescent gynecomastia. The other way is obviously from anabolic steroids, all right? So you just take a gobload of testosterone and your estrogen just goes through the roof. There are some medications that can cause it too, but these are the most common. And the reason my physician, Dr. Andrew Wingy, he takes estradiol is for a very niche reason. That is because, remember I said that estradiol is cardioprotective?
Yeah.
Because estrogen is cardioprotective, meaning the guys that are trying to lower their estrogen from aromatase inhibitors like Arimidex or Exemestane. If you lower estrogen too low, this is bad for your heart. This is something that I did years ago when I was abusing anabolic steroids. Idiot, but we didn't have the education back then. That makes you feel depressed. Low estrogen is a terrible place to be. And I argue a lot of the depression from low T will come from the resulting low estrogen as well. It's very, very important, bro. You feel cooked like you're on a come down when you artificially lower estradiol. Anywho, I digress once again. His family suffers from what's known as familial hypercholesterolemia, meaning that it's a genetic predisposition to have high LPA, and this is a recipe for an early heart attack, genetically speaking. It's not that rare. It occurs in, I forgot the percentage, but a lot more people than you think. And all of the males, uncles, father, etc., they died early, many of them in their 50s from heart attacks and strokes. Yeah. And this hyper-aggressive version of ASCVD comes about because of this genetic predisposition to having high LPA. And the estradiol can bring down that number. It's one of the only things that can. You know, there's this hot topic of debate, like you shouldn't take pills. But man, unfortunately, the verdict is out. If you care about living long, and I'm one of these guys that doesn't medicate himself, which is ironic because I'm on TRT, yet I seem to have some bias that I don't want to take statins or PCSK9 inhibitors to lower the LDL, lower the ApoB. Man, we spoke about this. If you've got high ApoB and high LPA, and you don't check your CTA, and you've got some soft plaque, and it ruptures, you can die from a heart attack. And it's the leading killer in men. And for whatever reason, I don't know why we've accepted it as just this, don't worry about it, don't take a pill. You're just running the gauntlet. So anyone that got lucky, it's not because you did the right thing. It's likely because you didn't have the genetic predisposition. You just gambled with your life.
You didn't do your blood works before you started taking it.
Yeah. And for, like I said, for the Arabs, Iranians, especially black Africans, they are more predisposed on average to this ASCVD than us. You know, the Northern Europeans, the Caucasians. I'm not saying that I can't get it. There are other causes. But yeah.
We should get a whiteboard one day and we should do a little lecture about if you're black, avoid these foods.
It's not the foods.
It's not the foods?
Man, I wish I could sit here and just say, live a healthy lifestyle and you will be able to ward off these progressive illnesses. But unfortunately, I've done the research, man. Yeah, you can lower ApoB with a low-fat diet. That's where they say stay away from saturated fats. And you can reduce risk to a degree, but not to a meaningful degree and not enough that you'd be able to lower it like you would with medications. So unfortunately, with that specific ailment, ASCVD, statins, PCSK9 inhibitors, ezetimibe, bempedoic acid, they will reduce your chance of having a heart attack. But that's only cause number one of having a heart attack, yeah? So you're genetically predisposed and maybe you've got some soft plaque building up because of that. But then there's also blood pressure, which also fucks around with the integrity of that pipe, yeah? So that's kind of a physical way to fuck the actual integrity of the pipe, not necessarily the soft plaque actually building up or the calcified plaque. There's smoking, which again can affect the integrity there and also increase blood pressure. So if you're a smoker, you've got high blood pressure, you've got a waist circumference, you know, to the point where people think you look fat, you've got predisposition when it comes to genetics, then you are insulin resistant. Okay, so we talked about that just then. Low testosterone, insulin resistance. You're basically a recipe for a heart attack. All you've got to do now to add on top of that is have global inflammation, so checked by maybe something like a high sensitivity CRP, and you're just a ticking time bomb, basically. A ticking time bomb. And there are so many of these men walking around. I'll tell you how many men like that walk around. Andrew Wingy is the resident emergency physician at the SKMC hospital in Abu Dhabi. Shout out to him. He's dealing with these cases on a daily basis in Abu Dhabi, and many of them are in their 30s. Particularly these Southeast Asians, skinny fat types, insulin resistant, smokers, bad air quality over there in the UAE, drinkers, they've just got all the hallmarks of being a heart attack victim, and they are. And, you know, I didn't fully appreciate this until someone very close to me had a heart attack last year. You actually know this person. I'm not going to say who, but you actually know this person.
No way.
Yeah, we met, and he actually recognized me via you.
No way.
Yeah, so you know this person. And this guy is fit, bro.
And you had a heart attack.
He had a heart attack.
You can tell me who it is later.
Nah.
No, you can't tell me.
It's
Private.
It's private. I maybe shouldn't have even given you...
Doctor confidentiality.
Yeah, well, I'm not like you throwing your mate under the bus.
Who did I throw under the bus?
Rory.
What did I throw? I didn't throw him under the bus. He said something, and I was
I
like,
thought you
tell
were going
him.
to call him and say, look, just confirm that it's about not being natural or not. And I would have said, all right, no worries. But you were like, beef, come on, sort this out. And
Yeah, that was funny.
I didn't like that either.
I thought it was funny. But
When you're going to be intimate with someone in a ring and you guys are punching each other's heads in, there's a degree of respect that should be had beforehand, definitely afterhand. The only time where it transfers from I respect him more than the average person, because I do, because he's considering it, to disrespect is when someone disrespects me first for the clicks. Maybe they say something about, I don't know, it's hard to insult me at this point, but let's say they disrespect me, then okay, now I understand what you want, we can go from there. But, you know, he hasn't signaled any of that. You know, it sounds like
No,
a good
no,
lad.
no.
So
No, he's a good lad.
I can't be that guy.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
be
yeah.
that shit cunt.
Yeah. No. Listen, I didn't expect you guys to beef anyways. You're both good people, and he likes your content. He told me this morning. I was like, I really like him.
But unfortunately, yeah, you know, all your favorite boxers are on PEDs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I hate to break the model in your head about there's some clean boxer that's, you know, religious and he'll never touch the stuff and he's a role model, but I'm sorry, guys, they're all juicing. And I know all of them are going to be like, no, we're fucking not. Well, that's what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back to the health stuff, because I guess that was the stream, was it?
Yeah,
It
I
turned
guess
into
so.
that.
Yeah, but listen, we don't have an agenda. We talk about whatever on the day in today's health.
Let's talk about something that will lead to our Patreon. I hope you've got that approved. No?
You know what's funny? I'm on it every day, and look what it says. Your Patreon credit account is currently under review. I'm thinking about just making a new one.
Well, they can go to my Buy Me a Coffee section until further notice. Then I was
Yeah.
hoping to drop this article that I wrote for our new subs and to transfer over my subs to our shared subs. I was going to give them all a free membership. That's how I wanted to do it.
Perfect.
All the loyal members get to go there for free.
Generous.
You know?
Perfect. I mean, I'll make a new one because the name doesn't really matter. We can name it.
Doesn't matter.
We can just get a new one.
Doesn't matter. Well, I wrote part 1, and it's actually on testosterone. And it was the misconception about what testosterone does in the body. And I'm talking about behaviorally speaking, not physiologically speaking. So not this other stuff that you can't see, most people aren't interested in. I'm talking about behaviorally speaking. And testosterone is thought as this hormone that is going to make you hypermuscular and increase aggression. And it can in the right context, but not necessarily. There are plenty of men walking around that have high testosterone, as you know, even bodybuilders that have 10 times the testosterone we do,
Yeah.
and they act in low-ranking male ways, right?
Yeah. What do we call it yesterday?
Low T.
Low T behavior.
So it's low T behavior, but they have high T. So what's with that, right? The reason is you've got 4 different types of men.
What, is it nurture versus nature?
It's both, yeah.
Okay.
It's both. But let's break it down into a simple framework that they understand. So do you want to start with the true alpha or the true beta?
True alpha.
All right, the true alpha is high testosterone, calm. Okay, so picture the primate kingdom, the top baboon. He doesn't need to fight. The only time he needs to fight is if a second tier male is going to challenge him, which he won't because he's already bashed him a couple times, and or another troop comes and challenges their troop. But for the most part, day in, day out, he's chill. He gets to eat first. He gets to fuck all the bitches. He's living the vida loca. All right, so that's high testosterone, calm. Then you have high testosterone, aggressive. That's that male only when called for, which is rarely. It's not a daily, minutely occurrence. The second tier to low-ranking males, all right? The lower down the chain you go, the more stressed they are, all right? Yeah. So the most stressed out male is a low T male who's also aggressive. He is continually under attack by all of the males above him, whether it be the alpha, the second tier, the third tier, the fourth tier. They just displace their aggression on him whenever they want. He wants to get a little bit of food, and they're not finished that, fuck off. They bash him, or they give him a strike. So that's low T, high aggression. Low T, high aggression, because they are constantly feeling like they need to be aggressive. And this is the insecure guy that has to lash out, that has low T.
And socially, you would look at him thinking he's got high T.
Yes, but he doesn't. Women are ignoring him. This is your classical, what do you call it? Dude that does a massacre. Like the guy after Charlie Kirk.
School shooter.
School shooter. The school shooter archetype, that's them. Very aggressive, low T behavior, okay? Because they're ignored. Then in between, we obviously have all the in-betweens, but the high T male is actually not aggressive. So your true alpha's not aggressive. Now, let's get away from those types. I didn't explain them as well as I wanted to, but testosterone is actually the motivation hormone. It's the status-seeking hormone, and this is where aggression may be a thing depending on the environment. But if you're in an environment that is rewarding generosity at the time, let's say you're a Buddhist monk, and the society is rewarding the most generous guy that gives the most charity, and that Buddhist monk had low testosterone. Let's inject him with the required amount of testosterone. It's not going to make him aggressive. It's going to make him more charitable, more generous, because that's what society is rewarding at the time. But if you're in times of war, you're in a war tribe, maybe you're the Maori, and you are injected with testosterone and you were low testosterone, or you just had higher testosterone than everyone else, you'll be more willing to risk your life. Okay, because you're willing to do what it takes because of this testosterone level. It's context dependent. Okay, that's where you get the nature versus the nurture. So nature meaning born this way, born with the high T. Nurture meaning the environment. Okay, so when you stack the two on top, that's how you get alphas in different scenarios. Now, the reason this is very interesting to me lately is I watched a show called Beef on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Highly recommend. Season 2 come out. And it's your representation of your modern day wokey Western relationship dynamic. The complete opposite to how I live my life.
So we should watch this.
You should absolutely watch it. You can watch season 2 without season 1. Season 1's actually very different. They don't actually continue. It's different actors, different everything. So watch season 2. And the reason that these classical, conservative, macho men are not seen in a lot of these wokey TV shows now is because it's not required in safer societies. So if you go to California, you've got police. You don't need the tough guy anymore. I know a lot of guys are like, go to the gym so you can protect yourself and your family. When does it happen? When does it happen in these safe societies? Very rarely. When it does happen, they make a song and dance about it. But truth be told, I agree with Clavicular. I agree with him. It is a waste of time being a fighter unless you have other insecurities or other reasons for it. For me, I do it. I love the sport. And if I wanted to be a good fighter, I'd be doing MMA and wrestling or fucking boxing. Boxing to me is very much purely a sport and an art. But you're not standing a chance against a wrestler, bro. Like, you're done. Okay? Everyone's got a puncher's chance. No one's got a wrestler's chance. You fight a wrestler, you're done. You don't accidentally submit him. You're done. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to it. So in a society where you've got a high T male, he's not going to act aggressively and macho. He's going to act in a way that supports the task at hand in order to rise to the top of the status in the wokey world. And what are wokey guys like? They're very generous and understanding to women. They're in touch with their feelings. Believe it or not, I know you see this, this archetype, whether it be an Andrew Tate or some other manfluencer. That's what your algorithm is doing to you. That's actually not what the majority of these girls are teeing up with. They're teeing up with this sensitive new age guy. He's got a good job. He's in touch with his feelings. He's secure with himself. Maybe he's doing some fucking ayahuasca and mushrooms with him. That's the kind of guy that's getting with your girl who's, I don't know what you want to call them. They are very egalitarian. It's like the girl and the guy are closer to one another. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, a lot of those women don't have dreams about, you know, some robust, aggressive alpha male. Some do, but many don't. You know, many don't, bro. And the reason is because they don't need that. They just want a guy who's got money, who's kind, who's going to be fatherly, and they can, you know, click and bond in their own different way. Sadly, the macho man is not as needed as you think, bro.
So you're saying the calm, generous man has high testosterone?
Yes. If in society that's what is being rewarded.
And the aggressor, the aggressive people, the quick to react, they're low T.
Yeah, that's low T behavior. So, because you're showing your insecurity.
Got it.
You're not responding. A reaction is not a response. So, for example, let's say someone insults me. If I was high T or acting in a high T way, I consider that data.
Yeah.
To be reactive,
Yeah.
that's emotional. That's low T. That's showing
T.
my insecurities.
Yeah.
But if that person is a nobody, I treat him like a barking dog behind a fence.
Yeah.
He can't get to me. But if that insult is coming from someone that may potentially damage my reputation, I don't bark back. I respond. Maybe I kill him. Maybe I pay someone to kill him. That's a response. Get rid of the threat. Okay, that's super high T because you didn't need the public to see it. You remove this threat and people just talk like, do you think maybe Daniel had something to do with that? And then you just walk into the room as if nothing happened. You create this mysterious aura. But if you go out barking, be like, oh, I'm going to fucking do this to this cunt next time I fucking see him. Women can smell that, and the true alphas can smell that. That's not threatening.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense to you?
That makes a lot of sense. When I look back in situations where the guys were just overly aggressive and I was like, there's no need. Just calm down.
Honestly, the way that you act in scenarios a lot of the time is very high T because you're not trying to prove yourself as a tough guy in a society that isn't rewarding tough guys. We're in Bali, Indonesia. We're in Dubai. We're in Miami. You're not being rewarded for being tough. Now, if you niche into that archetype very well, you can convince people that that is what all the women want. Those women will want that, but many will not. Like, you've got women into different things. You're telling me that Justin Bieber doesn't have a shit fuck ton of girls after him?
Of course.
Does he act in a tough way, yes or no?
No.
No, not at all. There are equal amount of girls into him than they are in someone like an Andrew Tate. Then there are equal amount of girls in a Justin Bieber or an Andrew Tate or some rock star guy who's got long hair, I don't know, paints his fingernails black and he's like, and he's got those rock star girls. It depends on your niche. And I guess the advice here would be hone in on your niche. If you're going to be the underworld figure, bro, be a kingpin. I see a lot of this post gangland me on social media now. I don't know if it's because of my algorithm that I clicked on the wrong reel one day, but I'm seeing these guys, they come out of prison, you know, change your life, like get a job, be good in society. And I think this sounds like coke, bro. Because if you had actually made $100 million from dealing that rack and then you got away with it, you'd have not talked about it, bro. You're talking about it because you went to prison, you've come out, and it didn't work out for you, and now you're telling all these kids, all right, to follow in your footsteps. It just sounds like you fucked up.
Yeah.
So I just think, I'm not the moral police here. If you're going to be a kingpin, be number one. If you're going to be the best fighter, be the best. Like, number one. And if you're going to be the Justin Bieber type, man, work on those vocals. You see what I'm saying?
Like, you look at John Jones, calm. Outside the ring, calm.
Bro, John Jones has zero arrogance about him.
Khabib,
Another one.
another one.
You're not no one's fucking with John Jones.
Yeah, nobody.
All right? And very few people are fucking with Khabib. Even though he's a lightweight, he holds his weight. And these guys are as humble and as modest as it gets. Now, I'm not saying that someone like a Conor McGregor isn't awesome as well, but he fits his archetype well, and so does a Khabib. But when you've got number 1 and 2 in the world, that allowed Conor to still continue to excel because he's a showman, okay? But if we were in a situation where he was a mid-tier fighter, and then someone like a Khabib came along who was very humble and modest, it would make Conor McGregor out to sound insecure. But because it's Conor, man, whether you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean, you must give these athletes the respect they deserve. Because, okay, I don't think anyone is saying Conor was as good as Khabib or Conor had a chance with Khabib. But if you watch that fight, he did better against Khabib than many people before him. And he's still top. And a lot of what he said, he would do in the ring. You know, he's earned that arrogance because it's Conor. And it's the same with Andrew Tate. Like, bro, if people said the exact thing Andrew Tate said and they delivered it in the exact same way, because they're not him, it just comes across as cringe. Very few people can shoot through and really nail the archetype in an arrogant way and still get away with it. And I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that they are able to charm the audience with humor. Andrew Tate, legit stand-up comedian. Conor McGregor, legit funny. You see? Hilarious.
In public, though, Conor McGregor's behavior would be low T behavior.
Yes.
In public.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say I've ever seen Khabib or John Jones do anything low T behavior in public.
John Jones has done some drunken shit.
Yeah, but that's drunken shit. And I think you're referring to the video where he was drink driving and the cops got him and there was like footage and stuff like that.
And no one cares. He's like bashed chicks or whatever or something. There was some sort of domestic assault. Sorry.
Accusations.
If you didn't bash a chick, Johnny. don't come after me.
That'd be a bad day for that girl.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If he did, he probably flicked her. Because, I mean, she's dead.
She's dead.
You know?
She's one elbow, she's gone.
Gone. With Jones, before his fights, he would even say it. He used to get plastered the week before and still win. He's that good. Okay, he got caught for anabolic steroids, I think, twice. Who cares? People still consider him GOAT. No one truly cares. People only care who was the best. Who was the best? No one cares. That's it. Same with Lance Armstrong. No one is taking that away from him.
No one knows number 2.
Literally.
No one knows number 2.
Unless you're entrenched in the sport, no one knows number 2.
No one knows number 2. Is there anything else you want to add to that one before I move to... it's still health related.
Okay.
Cialis.
Yep, okay.
Do you take Cialis?
No.
Okay.
But great drug.
Yeah. So I spoke to a really successful guy who's been on my podcast. He lives in Miami. And he has a longevity doctor. And he's put him on 5 milligrams per day.
Yes.
Because it puts less pressure on the body.
You want me to explain that for you?
Explain that, and also, is that a good idea for people to be microdosing Cialis every day?
I don't want to say something is a good or a bad idea. Unfortunately, when it comes to health, I have to give the nuanced answer. But the reason a lot of people, including my friend, Dr. Andrew Wingy, promote, they are PDE5 inhibitors. Can you double check that? The medical term for Cialis, Viagra, and those class of drugs. They lower blood pressure. And they lower it a modest amount, but for people that are borderline high, they'll lower the blood pressure. Okay, that's one of the mechanisms of action as to why Cialis is used at 5 milligrams daily. It's a mild antihypertensive agent. Secondary,
Gets your dick hard.
The old pipe gets harder.
That's fantastic.
So I mean, that is, that's good for your mental health.
Yeah.
All right. The reason I don't,
and for her.
Exactly. I got nothing against it. The reason I got nothing against it is because for now, and we have enough data, enough anecdotal data, for now it seems relatively safe if you suffer from those things. And you got to ask yourself, it's not lower the blood pressure, and it's obviously worse. sole reason why I don't have high blood pressure, because I genuinely had high blood pressure before. I said, fuck this, I'm going to do something about it. And if it doesn't work naturally, I'm going to take the blood pressure meds. I was able to lower my blood pressure with 3 hours of zone 2 cardio a week and 1 to 2 times per week of high intensity. So maybe we go and do 6-7 rounds 2 times a week. Okay? And that was enough for me. Now, going back to Silas, I don't need it, but I have a side effect that's not that uncommon. It just congests my nose immediately. And the nasal congestion is why I never used to use it back in the day when we used to drink. And someone's like, have a Silas before going out, bro. The nasal congestion would be so bad for me, I couldn't breathe. So that is not uncommon. And even at a dose of 5 milligrams, it wasn't the drug for me. But again, yeah, look,
I mean, it's a great drug. There's no side effects.
No, there is side effects. There are side effects to every drug.
5 milligram?
Yes. Whether you notice it or not, there are side effects to all medications, even paracetamol.
How dangerous would it be for somebody that has low blood pressure already to take Cialis?
Not low, because it doesn't tend to send it too low.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it's pretty safe.
It's in terms of comparing safety, efficacy compared to all drugs ever created. I'm throwing Cialis in there with the safest drugs, as well as metformin, as well as testosterone.
Wow.
Yeah, testosterone is a very, very safe drug. It's hard to even call it a drug. It's a hormone, even though you're taking it exogenously. But you could maybe class it as a drug. I guess that's a bit nerdy. But those 3 are very safe. The other drugs I would consider very safe would be, and again, everything is dose dependent. Caffeine, man.
Paracetamol?
Paracetamol, no. If you were to take paracetamol daily, I mean, you would suffer liver cirrhosis. You would die.
Wow.
You just can't live on paracetamol indefinitely. You can't do that. Acute term, yes, very safe, relatively safe. But to just dose the shit all day long, no. Caffeine, man, very safe.
Very safe.
Very safe, potentially even life-saving, potentially even extending your life, potentially even warding off Alzheimer's. Nicotine, I want to throw it in there, but I can't. I just think that with nicotine, we see elevations in blood pressure and heart rate more so than we do with a reasonable dose of caffeine. But nothing against nicotine either.
Okay. So going back to Cialis.
Yes.
Right. Basically, if you got high blood pressure and you got erectile dysfunction, use it.
Sure.
It's safe. It's not a big deal. Because I got a friend of mine who's like, man, you know, she was on her period. We didn't end up having sex today, and I took a Cialis, man. I damaged my body, and I was like, I don't think you damaged your body. Like, people are actually conscious of taking it and not actually getting a result to like fuck a girl or something.
Well, that's some low T male behavior. I mean, if you are not willing to risk it sometimes, whether it be a medication or you're doing rounds with the boys or it's a business, I mean, that's how I consider low T behavior. I consider someone not willing to take a medication that may potentially be life-saving or offer a performance benefit as low T. I don't have this kind of moral compass where, okay, testosterone's out, but nicotine's in. Masteron's out, but caffeine's in. No. They're all drugs, and whatever is going to help me achieve that outcome, let's take it. You know, if I felt that something like a human growth hormone was to benefit me, I'd take it. The reason I don't take human growth hormone is I just don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good, but some friends swear by it.
You've tried it, you didn't like it.
I didn't like it. I don't have a moral compass where I go around flexing like, yeah, but you know, I only take 150 milligrams of testosterone. No, like, I would take all the drugs if I felt I needed them. Less is more, don't get me wrong. But again, in the future, should we do a CTA? Let's do a CTA on Daniel, even though my CAC score was 0. So there's an 85% chance I've got no soft plaque there. Okay? There's definitely no calcified plaque. Should we see some narrowing of a pipe and there's some soft plaque there, we are 100% taking the PCSK9 inhibitor with an ezetimibe. We're not just going to say, no, I'm going to do it naturally. We're getting the fucking stent and then we're lowering ApoB to save our life. It's retarded to think that you won't take antibiotics if you've got a life-threatening infection. That's the reason why humans live longer today. That was the moment in time where humans got that extra jump in lifespan. It was antibiotics. That was it. We've all taken antibiotics at some point in life. We've all taken advantage of some pharmacopoeia. We have. I just don't have this line in the sand where someone could consider that person clean and that person not. We're all not clean. We're all not natural.
I'm on antibiotics now.
There you go.
I mean, listen, childhood vaccines was one of the best things that we've ever invented.
Some vaccines are life-saving. The COVID vaccine was a different beast because they pushed it through. The virus was clearly not as life-threatening to the vast majority of the population, and so that was BS. I didn't have the vaccine. And it did also seem like, unlike other vaccines, that there was potential harm from this vaccine, unlike no other. So the risk versus reward didn't exactly weigh up. But there are things in life, what is it, polio? I mean,
Polio?
if that's going around, you're taking the fucking vaccine or you're a fucking retard. So I just don't think you can have this one-sided black or white conversation about vaccines either. Now, a lot of the vaccines they'll give your kid at birth, which we didn't do, are BS. Like, you look at them and you think the odds of my child contracting this virus is so low, it's not worth doing. It's basically just them injecting water in your muscles or in your kid's muscles. And so we didn't vaccinate our daughter with anything. There's just no need in this current day where we live for her to be vaccinated with anything. But should something arise in future, like it's Ebola on steroids, and there's some vaccine, and people are just fucking dying everywhere, I'm taking the fucking vaccine. I'm taking that risk. But I have to judge it on a case-for-case basis. And no, the COVID vaccine to me was not that case.
Regarding being on test, TRT, when you inject it, do you inject in the muscle or the fat?
You can do either. You can do subcutaneous. I inject in the muscle with a very small needle, a 1/2 inch, 27 gauge. I do 50 milligrams 3 times a week, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, you can also do that subcutaneously in many sites, but the issue with subcutaneous injections with an oily solution that's very viscous is you're more prone to hard nodules and lumps. And I just don't know why you'd bother when going into your deltoids or your glutes is not a hassle. You're not doing this big, 3 mil injection. When you're on TRT, you're doing this real small amount. Yeah. You're not. It's not like you're taking a big injection of tren. So, I mean, either way, a couple of my clients do. Well, tren is not TRT, and trenbolone can make you cough after an injection, and it's a different beast altogether. I never use tren, and there's reasons for that. Now, with a subcutaneous injection, many of my clients do it. But again, if you're suffering these nodules that can lead to scar tissue, you may risk a malabsorption of a kind. Maybe it goes through the lymphatic system and you don't actually get the full dose of your testosterone. That's a risk. I did it for a period of time. I got my blood work done, no issues, but I did get those nodules and that's why I stopped.
You did get those nodules, did you?
I did, yeah.
Because you were injecting in fat?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, and did they go away?
They did, but one of them took months, man.
Okay. Yeah. Are they dangerous?
No. Usually not, no.
No. Okay. All right. We've been streaming for 1 hour and 3 minutes, but I got one more question.
One more question?
Peptides.
Okay.
The most popular peptide right now is retatrutide.
Okay.
Right? Well, I mean, that's debatable. We're the most popular, but something around me and all the boys that I speak to, they're all taking Reta, right?
Okay.
Who is Reta for and who is Reta not for?
Okay. So let's talk about the definition of peptide first. Pep meaning protein and tide meaning two. So a lot of people think peptides do something to growth hormone because the first peptides that were popular were GH releasing peptides. Insulin is a HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, is a peptide. That's more to do with the structure, the molecular structure of the thing. And it doesn't make the retatrutide related to a GHRP6, 2, or ipamorelin in any formal way. Now, retatrutide, less important is that it's a peptide. More important is what it does in the brain. It's a 3-action appetite suppressant, so to speak. I won't get into the nerdy nitty-gritty, but similar to Ozempic, it's got the GLP, but it's also got 2 other things in it to be able to make it work more effectively with less side effects. Long story short, it makes you eat less, and it potentially increases your metabolism a little bit too. So it increases your basal metabolic rate a little. I think this is a little bit like, oh, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but the potential is definitely there with regards to mechanism.
So that's
of action.
it. You just don't eat.
You just don't eat, man.
There's nothing else. There's no like fat burning substances in there.
Like I said, it'll increase your basal metabolic rate, meaning you can eat a little bit more, but no one knows for sure how much. Opinions vary. Some people say an extra 150 calories a day. Some people say more. The other potential benefit is if you're insulin resistant, it can help you control insulin and blood glucose. So if you're someone that struggles with blood glucose regulation, yes, it can help there too. Not related to the appetite suppressing effects, because if you eat less, you're going to lose body fat, you're going to become more insulin sensitive. You're going to improve your prediabetes or your insulin resistance. But separate to that, this drug can work. Yeah, does that make sense?
I hear it's good for the liver as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a crazy stat. In the West, when you see someone with elevated AST, ALT, GGT, these liver function tests, most of the time back in the day, the doctor would say, how much are you drinking? You need to control the drinking. And many people in my family too, we don't drink at all. We never drink. And the doctor used to say, it's impossible. You're lying to me. Then they discovered this thing known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. And more people are suffering from liver issues from the overconsumption of food, namely carbohydrates and processed foods, than they are suffering liver issues from drinking. It's crazy rampant. I see this all the time. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. I see it all the time.
It's so common now.
It's super common.
Even I'm
bro.
getting it, and I'm like, I don't really drink.
The reason you're getting it is because you're skinny fat. Now, if you look at someone's weight, yes, the reason it is a contributor potentially to something like a NAFLD is because typically heavier people are fatter people and they are consuming more carbohydrates. Sugar isn't bad for you. I know they say it's bad for you. It's more nuanced than that. Sugar that you don't burn is absolutely bad for you. Now, sugar is not micronutrient dense. I'm not saying it's good for you, but when you are not using that sugar, then it starts to spill over and can cause things like NAFLD. Now, if me and you eat the same food, the exact same dish, it's going to affect me less because I have more muscle tissue than you. Consider muscle like this. Let's say you've got a small amount of muscle, you've got a 300 ml bottle. And that bottle, once it fills up and spills over, that's bad news, okay? Imagine this is your amount of muscle, 300 ml, but then I've got 600 ml. That allows me to eat double the amount of food than you before it spills over and causes me the same issues it causes you. So the number one thing you want to do is increase your muscle mass as much as possible within the physiological range. I'm not saying that excessive muscle is good for you, which is why I'm on TRT and not more, because if I was to gain too much muscle, now we're starting to cause strain on the kidneys. Now we're starting to cause strain on the heart. But up until this point, I want to be as muscular as possible. That's what you want. You want to build as much muscle as possible to ward off something like a NAFLD. Do not believe in this fake BS model that you don't want to be too big. You want to be as big as you humanely can. You will not get too big. It's impossible without steroids. I haven't gained an ounce of muscle since I was maybe 18. In fact, I'm smaller than I was before starting steroids now because I'm injured. You can't gain more after a certain point, bro.
I had another question about this. Is red meat bad for the liver?
No.
Eggs bad for the liver?
No.
So it's mostly carbohydrates.
It's mostly carbohydrates, excessive carbohydrates. Correct.
Excessive carbohydrates, not potatoes. I mean, potatoes are carb, but like, not like roasted potatoes, stuff like that. Bread mostly is bad for the liver.
It's not that I'm trying to demonize bread more than potatoes. It's just that it's harder to overeat potatoes than it is bread and pasta.
Got
It's
it.
easier to overeat processed sugar than it is potatoes. You'll be so incredibly full before you're able to overeat something like a potato.
Got it.
But can you get something like a NAFL D from fruit? Absolutely. Especially if we start getting into conversations around fructose, which is not bad. I'm just saying that if you have a high fructose fruit and it's pound for pound with something like maybe a cruciferous vegetable, you're going to see more issues with the high fructose stuff with regards to triglycerides and NAFLD. So yeah, you can overdo it with fruit. You can overdo it with clean food. Absolutely.
So you're a fan of potato. Potato's okay. Roast potato, it's fine.
I'm a fan of any food as long as you don't overeat. Now, I'm about to go and have 2 pizzas right now and 2 cookies. That is not good for me. It's hedonistic. But I'm checking my body fat doesn't exceed a certain point. That's the main thing. The main thing is your body fat and then these other metrics. So I've been thinking about creating an app lately. I'll say this publicly. I want to create an app because now we have with Claude Opus 4.7 the ability to do so and then give someone an overall score of how likely they are to get X or live this long. And if they input their blood work, if they input the results from their imaging, and if they input some other subjective markers, I can give them this overall score. Because I know the blood markers to look for, I know the imaging to get, so the CTA, the echocardiogram, the EKG, the full body MRI, as well as those lab markers, and then some subjective well-being scores, as well as some sleep scores. Maybe you can input your Whoop data. Then I can give someone an overall score, which, look, I don't like to be one of those data-driven guys, but for some people in the early stages, it helps them massively, if they're trying to tinker through certain health problems. I know for me, bro, I wouldn't be here if not for testosterone, because unfortunately, it's just not coming back for some guys that use gear.
All right, everybody. Anything else you want to get off your chest, Daniel?
We can do a very quick...
I know your pizza's probably here already.
We can do a very quick war update. Ceasefire extended to my knowledge. For now, we're seeing Bitcoin hover up around 77K. But, if the ceasefire was to discontinue, I can't expect for Bitcoin to continue to rise. I would expect a retraction. How much, I don't know. I don't care. But look, at this point, full-blown conflict between Iran, US, and Israel, I can't think of as good for Bitcoin, but good for Bitcoin in the long run. I know people want to hear my views on Bitcoin. Once again, I'm a capital investor, not a day trader, not a short-term trader. As long as it's 250,000 in 5 years and $1 million in 10 years, then I'm on the right track. My thesis is correct. But what happens in the next 30 days, 90 days, even 365 days, less relevant to me. But if you want me to, give you some signals, look, if ceasefire discontinues, boom, we're going to see all-time highs for oil. We're going to see probably a retraction in most markets, definitely a retraction in any of the GCC markets that are affected directly by the conflict. So that would be, Dubai Property Index, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, maybe less so Aramco because they've got the Red Sea, at least for now. But that would be my prediction. So more of what we saw before, probably intensified to prove a point, or for the US and Israel to prove a point. But for now, it's purgatory. And for now, I think markets are liking it, but it's too early to tell.
The markets aren't really doing much, especially with Brent crude. It's kind of in this flag and it's deciding what to do and where to go.
Yeah,
so,
which is our truth index, remember?
Yeah, correct.
And it is acting like a real truth index, isn't it? I mean, when you think about market sentiment, it's always matching Brent crude right now. When you say it looks uncertain, that's how people think with regards to this ceasefire.
Yeah.
Some are saying this, some are saying that. Every expert has a different opinion, but I've never seen so much polarity between each expert, even within the same bias. So the US expert, the Iranian expert, the GCC expert.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah. Let's see how it crumbles.
Let's see.
All right, everybody.